So Bethany and I are in Salt Lake City, Utah, because we have felt that the Lord has told us that we need to plant a church in this area. So in April of 2024, I went to our conference with a bunch of the campus pastors at Elevation Church. We've been on staff at Elevation Church for 9.5 years. My brother, he was in the process of talking about his church plant and everything like that. And so I got to pick his brain while we were there. And we just got to talk a little bit about what it looked like to plant and everything. In the beginning, my brother kind of reminded me as a young adult, church planting is always something that has been on my heart. And I kind of thought when I got involved with Elevation Church and building some great campuses and just doing some of the things that we've been able to do, I kind of felt like, no, that was the thing, you know, and kind of felt the desire to plant a church kind of just fade away and everything. And so Brad and I are having this conversation about church planting and everything, and towards the end of the day, as the week kind of progressed, like my heart went from like, I don't think I'll plant a church, to I don't know if I'll plant a church, to maybe this is something that God would have for us, you know? And Brad and I were driving to like one of the last sessions. I just kind of felt in my spirit, like I felt that he was gonna ask me where I would plant if I were to plant. Mm-hmm. And I just felt that he was gonna ask it. And we got into the car, closed the doors, and started driving, and it was like kind of quiet for a little bit. And Brad said to me, so if you had to plant, where would you plant? And I just smiled, and it was kind of a surreal moment, but I just knew in my heart exactly where I wanted to go. And I said Salt Lake City, Utah. I just knew, yeah.
And you'd never been there.
I'd never been there. You had been there. You had been there. Like,
I've been here once.
You've driven through once, and then you've actually been here a second time.
I've been here for a conference. So this is my third time. You're first.
Right, but we never talked about it. Like Bethany and I, whenever we talked about moving, it was always these like, I don't know, maybe typical destinations or...
I mean, we love to travel. We've talked about, are we going to move abroad one day when we retire? Are we going to be in Charleston? Like places we love. And but this would never have been a place that we just talked about moving. This was God. Okay, wait, can I say how I felt when you got home?
Hang on.
Okay.
So from that point on, Brad and I kind of began to discuss.
Yes,
like
that kind of sealed it for you. Like, oh shoot, I think this is going to happen and I know where.
Right.
And
I know where I would go
you.
and everything. Yeah. And it began to feel real to me. And I felt like the second I said it, I just felt like that was it. Like I just felt that was it. That was going to be. I still had this like nerve. I still had this like, oh gosh, what if that didn't work out, or whatever it was. Like you just have all the, like I felt like in my spirit that it was right, and in my flesh I was like,
what?
Yeah, exactly. And as I got back, like just before I left, I looked at my brother, and my brother said, so what are you gonna do now? And I said, I am not going to tell anyone. I said, this needs to be something that the Lord reveals to Bethany, and that needs to be the case. Like it's like the Lord needs to speak to her, and when He speaks to her, then I'll know. You know, then it'll be confirmed or whatever it is. You know, I got back home.
I mean,
I feel like I was normal, but you said I was weird.
Okay, Ryan is such a good communicator, not just like, you know, from stage or whatever, but like he communicates with me well, and he tells me all the details. I never have to ask him for the details, and it's a blessing. But this time he got home and I was expecting to hear all about the sessions and the conversations and the breakouts and just details of how did God speak and the way we would debrief any conference that he was at and I wasn't at, or vice versa. And I felt like you were being weird. And like, I don't know, like that he just wasn't telling me something. Right. And maybe this was like just revealed by the Lord or what, but at one point, after I've been trying to get details out of him about this thing, finally I just looked at him and I was like, did something happen? Did God speak something to you? And you're not telling me about it because he has to tell me? And Ryan just looked at me and he goes, yes. And I was like, well, that explains why you're being so weird. Like, it just felt like you weren't as forthcoming with like the details. Anyway, so, and at that I was just kind of like, okay, that appeased me, and I just trusted like, all right, I'll hear from God on this if I'm meant to, and And then a month went by.
You were having a meeting.
I was in
with
a meeting.
really good friend of
Yeah.
ours. And you guys were actually sitting in my office, and
You were on your way.
I was
You
on
were
I was on the
running
way.
late
I was
from a
running
different
late from
meeting
a
or something.
meeting. So
Yeah.
they were just chatting and kind of catching up and everything. And then I walked into the office and sat down, and I was like, all right, guys, so what are we talking about? Like, kind of thing. And
Because in my conversation prior to Ryan entering the room, one of the things that our friend Greg had said was like, you know, I don't know if everyone should play in a church or do certain roles in ministry, but I could actually see you guys doing it. And I had kind of laughed in his face. I was like, no, like we've been in ministry, we've like done a lot of different.
Hold on. Another thing about this is you also made it very clear to me that you would prefer to never plant a church.
Yeah. Yes.
Or
Yeah.
anything like that. You had made that
I think
clear
the
to me.
longer we've been in ministry, we've just acknowledged there's weight to different roles in ministry. There's a pressure, just it can be difficult. And I just think in the last few years, we've walked through different things that have just made me wary, and like, I just don't think I would ever want to do that. I don't think I ever could do that. Like, I don't know. And so up until this conversation, I think if you'd asked me anytime in the last few years, like, could you ever see yourself planning a church? I'd be like, goodness, no.
I was like, so look me in. Why'd you
Well,
think
no.
that was the case?
Because I had said, I don't know, maybe it's inevitable.
Oh, that is what you
Which
said.
is so, when I think about it, based on like how I would have approached this for the last few years, even that I feel like was from God. Because for me to have just been so like, maybe this is gonna happen one day, is shocking. Like, but I said it in that moment, and I feel like as I said it in my spirit, I'm looking at you and I'm like, he thinks this, haha, is it inevitable, haha? And I'm looking at you, and it's like immediately I knew, and I just was like, this is the thing, huh? Like, this is the thing God revealed to you at ARC. And Ryan just is like, yes. And I was like, we're planning a church. Like, and the way that just shifted from like, absolutely not, that would have to be a miracle, God would have to be clear, to like, in one conversation, just feeling an absolute release, confirmation, like clarity, and just willingness that could only have been prompted by the Spirit of God. That was just like, okay, yeah, this is happening. This is going to happen. This must happen. I think you said, and I know where, but we don't have to have this conversation now.
Right.
Because it was just like, it was like, it felt like I did not prepare myself for this big of a conversation, this
we were meeting about
something
completely different.
It was just like such a casual, it was supposed to be like a little meeting. Right. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh my gosh, we're planning a church. And then you're like, hey, not to drop so many like bombshells, but like, sure. I know where it is. We'll talk about it later. The Lord will speak to you about that as well.
I said, you can guess, take one guess. And I said, and if it's the wrong place, we're going to be done with the conversation.
You're like, we'll talk about it later.
And I said, if it's the right place,
time.
I said, if it's the right place, that means that obviously God has a plan or something like that, you know?
And
like,
it's so funny because again,
I feel
our
like
friends
Gideon
in the corner,
sort of leading out this fleece or something like that. And I don't think you should do this with every piece of your life or anything like that. But this was just one thing that I was like, it was a big move. And I just felt like the Lord was going to like, if he wanted me to go, like he would tell you, because we're going to go together.
Right.
We've got kids, and we've got like a whole thing to uproot and all of that kind of stuff. And we've got great lives in North Carolina, and it's awesome.
Yeah, our life is great. So I was like, okay, I'll guess. And then Ryan's like, all right, and I'll just, I'll cover up my face.
Yeah, I don't know why I did this, but I just said, I'll cover my face so I don't give anything away.
Yeah, and he should, so it just
give it a
so
face like this.
And I just, in like what felt like forever, my brain went so many different places. But then it's just like, it was maybe 3 seconds. And I just look at Ryan and I was like, I know where it is.
And I said, I know you know where it is. I felt it in my spirit as well. I felt like she's going to say the right place.
And he's like, I know you know where it is. And meanwhile, our friends in the corner are just like, where's the popcorn?
He's going, what's happening?
What is happening? And I was like, it's Salt Lake City. It's Salt Lake City. And Ryan has his hands over his face. And then finally, he just kind of like shakes his head and he looks at me and he has tears in his eyes and he's like, it's Salt Lake City.
Yeah, I was like that. And I mean, in my mind, I'm going,
what?
Going, how many freaking cities are there out
Like,
there?
it was the entire world was an option. Like, we've talked about being abroad, so truly, it was like every city, every place in the world could have been spoken. But by the Spirit of God, like, it was dropped. Salt Lake City. And
So
confirmed to him, confirmed to me. It's happening. It has to happen.
Yeah. So
we're here.
Arrived yesterday, and we've been. Do you like it so far?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I like it.
I
it a
like
lot.
storytelling.
I
I
like
think
it.
we can always refilm at some point.
No, I'm asking you about the city, Bubba.
Oh, I thought you were asking on how this is going. I think it's going great.
No, I meant, do you like the city? That's why I was like, I love it. I really do like it. Do you like it so far?
I do. I like it. I think it's such a unique city. I think it's beautiful. The mountains are beautiful. The different neighborhoods are so unique. The people have been kind and friendly and conversational. And I just...
All of those things, like I said, is bonus. But like at the end of the day, when God sends you, he doesn't care about... I mean, he created the landscape and all that kind of stuff, but he doesn't care as much about the landscape as much as he cares about his people.
Yeah.
So ultimately, it's not about us just being in a cool place or anything like that. It's about the people that are here that need Jesus, and we want to be a place for them to practice their faith, and we just think it's an exciting place to be. So there's a whole lot more to the story. Like there's a whole lot more to the story than just how this all came to be. But we look forward to telling you more about that in the future, and opening up a little bit more about what is going to be.
Yeah.
But we're excited.
There's already good work happening here. There's great churches here, but I'm excited to be a part of it.
Yep. So we're looking forward to what God's going to do in the city. And we don't know you yet, but we love you. And we're so grateful. Yeah, we're praying for you.
And we're
praying for you.
grateful for you.
Yep. So.
And I'm going to cry, so we should stop.
Well, I ran out of milk, so I might as well just do a cortado. And we're gonna just pour it in from a distance, and we'll swirl it around, lift up, and then we'll try and do something that looks terrible. It may look like trash, but it tastes good. All right, so that video was shot in October of 2024. It is now May 21st of 2025. There has been a lot that has happened since then. So that first video was mainly to show you a little bit about the story of how God led us to make the decision to plant the church out in the Salt Lake area. Since then, while we're going to the Salt Lake area, we've got a completely different location in mind. It's not Salt Lake City specifically. Through many different conversations that we've had, prayer, ultimately we wanted to be helpful to the local church, showing up in a different place. We've got a lot of different things on our hearts. God's put, he's kind of shaped, I don't know, he's put many things on our hearts of like dreams of how we wanted this to ultimately come out. We'll take you on a little bit of a journey, and we'll post another video that will share kind of the in-between from October all the way till now, where we are now, where we're going, and what the Lord has put on our hearts for the area that he has called us to. So stay tuned. And we will share the city, the actual city that we're going to. Many of you may already know, doesn't matter. I'm gonna keep the thing under wraps for this video, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in the future. So thank you so much. Very soon we're gonna have, a lot of you have been asking, a lot of friends have been asking, people have been asking, hey, how do I support? We're working on 501c3 stuff right now. Once that has been dialed in, we will open up a bank account that will ultimately be a space where you can give to the church. and you will be supporting us, looking for jobs right now, hoping that we're gonna find something pretty soon. In the meantime, stay tuned. We love you. Thanks for coming along. We'll have a new video up for you very, very soon. Love you all.